take a lead.
Okay. Move to next. We are today going to assess this. We have done the introduction, so we can go to the next slide. First, I'll request someone from the engineer side to give us a brief introduction of the project. I have 2 slides on this, so if you want to describe the project on these slides, can you go to the next slide? Or anyone want to share their own slides? It will be good.
No, Anwar, what I would suggest, let us complete your presentation. Then probably we can request Safin to share the project description. So let us complete your presentation.
Okay, move to next slide. First, I'll give an introduction to the SRM standard, Social Risk Management standard by the ADNOC, and what are its requirements to the projects, and how we go for the impact assessment, and how we assess the severity of the impact. So social risk management is a systematic approach to the identification and assessment of social impacts on communities and other stakeholders associated with an activity, project, or process, and subsequent determination of appropriate mitigation and monitoring practices. So just like EIA, in environmental impact assessments, this is also the SRM also uses the same practice to assess the social impacts coming from the project, and local communities are external stakeholders or social receptors around the projects. It is mandatory for all the projects to do the SIA for the projects. SRM requirements are applicable to all business activities within ADNOC Group companies that result in direct or indirect, real or perceived impacts on external stakeholders and on that can impact ADNOC reputation. Here, I'll describe between these real and perceived impacts and direct and indirect. Direct impacts are the project impacts which are affecting communities. Directly means if there are nearby communities to the project site, and they are being impacted by the air emissions, by the noise coming from the project, or by the transport of the project. So if these type of impacts, communities or external stakeholders, they are experiencing, then we say that these are the project direct impacts. And sometimes there are indirect impacts. For example, project for construction activities, project is getting query from some other areas, maybe 100, 200 kilometers away. So, and that extraction of query or transportation of query is affecting someone away from the project. These are indirect impacts, and sometimes we overlook this type of impacts which are not directly affecting local communities, or which are not happening in the close by of the project. So this type of impacts are sometimes overlooked, but these are also responsibility of the project to handle or manage all these type of impacts also. Then there are some perceived impacts and real impacts. These impacts, direct and indirect impacts, which we have just discussed, these are the real ones. Really, people are getting impacted. But sometimes people get perceived impacts. It is their own imagination or thinking that if there is a new project coming on, it may affect them. It is basically, these perceived impacts are this type of perceptions people take when they don't have the information about the project. For example, if someone has started, we have an offshore project, there are no communities close by, but for understanding if there is a new project close to a village or settlement, and people have started going there for the surveys and others. So people think that there might be some drilling activity, there might be some oil well to be drilled up to some time, and it may affect them. Its air pollution will affect them, or during construction their lands, maybe agricultural lands may be affected. So these are all their perceptions, and they get panic from this. They can start agitation, or they can start contacting the government authorities, which can